Hello, Buddhas. Today we are going to be talking about a fairly personal topic, actually, and that is kind of the catalyst, the thing that, at least recently, really kicked me off on my spiritual journey. Now, welcome to my very first video about my spiritual journey itself and how that relates to all of the things that we talk about on this channel with the law of attraction and manifestation and being a better self, really, at the end of the day. Now that you're all done subscribing down below, hitting that bell notification and clicking that thumbs up, let me actually get into what caused this complete and utter shift in myself. It's a very simple answer, honestly. There was a girl, I liked the girl broke my heart, and now we are here, and we feel better than ever. Let me explain. Last year, around, let's call it August, I met someone who I genuinely thought was someone that I would spend a lot more time with. And we were very close for a very short amount of time, but then we weren't. And I finally came to the realization, and I think that this is probably a realization that every single person has had on their spiritual journey. And that realization was, holy moly, I'm the common denominator in all the things that aren't working out the way that I've been wanting them to work out. This is not always necessarily obvious to the person who needs to realize it, and it is not necessarily something that comes by easily, right? Like I said, heartbroken, but better than ever now. Let me explain. Once I was at the point of realizing that, hey, okay, so I've had relationships in the past that didn't work out. This one that I was really excited about just didn't work out for, I don't even know why, to be completely honest. And it hit me. It finally hit me that the only person that's been in all of the relationships that I've ever been in, and this is not just like intimate relationships, I mean friends, family, coworkers, whatever, the only common element to all of that is myself. So I stepped back and I literally looked at what was going on in my entire life. Everything that I had created, my home, my lovely cat, who I can't find right now for a kitty cameo, but he's in other videos if you are interested, link down below or hopefully somewhere in the sidebar. And all of these things that had culminated into who I was at that moment, a year ago, let's call it, from now, which is about mid-November 2020. So mid-November 2019, Alex was feeling very, oh my God, I'm responsible for all the misery in my life. And yes, I still believe that is true. However, the last year has been one of the most healing and self-realizing and building and motivating and pleasant times of my entire life, which has been, for the most part, spent alone consuming content on the internet about the law of attraction and about manifestation and about self-realization and spirituality, and just diving into the core psyche and the fundamentals of what makes a human being a human being. I still believe that there is a trillion more things for me to learn and to understand, and it makes me so excited to be able to share this journey with you people, you Buddhas out there who are consuming this kind of content, who want to elevate themselves and understand why we're here, what we're doing here, and who we ultimately are. And that's what this journey has turned into for me. When I initially started going down the rabbit hole, Alice in Wonderland is not just some weird cartoon, by the way, watch it. good times. When I went down the rabbit hole of, okay, everything is my fault to start with, from like kind of a negative space, right? I just had my heart broken and by a girl, and I finally came to the realizations that it's not what other people do to you, it's how you perceive what they've done. Number one. Because everything outside of you is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. Now, I realize and I appreciate and I understand wholeheartedly that that can be, doesn't necessarily mean it is. I'm assuming I'm speaking to a fairly broad group of people, I hope. That can be kind of scary to look at the entire outside world and say, hey, that's actually a reflection of me, but there's all this negativity in the world. And trust me, at the beginning of my journey last year, I started to dive headlong into some of the negativity that is going on. And then we were hit with the beginning of 2020, words that shall not be said for YouTube algorithm reasons, and it just got even deeper and even darker. Till I got to a point where I remembered again that I, Alexander, this guy right here, I am the one creating the interpretation of the reality that I have. And I can be angry about it, and I can be sad about it, and I can be upset about the situation, and I can go down on negative tangents and wormholes and get completely consumed, or I can step back from the situation again, analyze what's going on, and come to a conclusion for myself about how I feel about what's going on. And ultimately, I have now seen this past year, yes, a lot of things have happened, and I'm not diminishing the things that have happened or affected people. But I can see this last year as the greatest blessing that I've had, which has allowed me to go inward and to see how incredibly powerful my own mind and heart and my body itself can be. Some of the things that I have accomplished in this past year that I will be sharing in more videos coming every single day. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification, baby. Some of the things that I have done is eradicated a chronic illness in my body, which medical professionals had said I would have to deal with for the rest of my life, and there was nothing that I could do about. I have learned to love myself. And I have learned the very beginnings and the starting to understand how the law of attraction and manifestation, I don't know if I can say that I understand even the beginning of how it works, but at least that tantalizing glimpse about what can come true and how things actually do happen, that I'm now in a position where I know wholeheartedly that the actions that I take in the real world are inspired by love. And they're inspired by a core resonance of wanting to help and wanting to elevate the planet and wanting to bring the greatest amount of abundance to the most abundant amount of people possible. And now that I know that about myself, I can look at every single situation that I'm in objectively. And that is going to be the subject of another video, because today's video has been all about the thing that catalyzed my beginning of my journey. And I apologize if it's a little bit vague, but that was slightly intentional. If you would like to hear more details, possibly we can make another video in the future when we have the confidence to get into that. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, remember the absolute most important thing to do is to love yourself.